Hello everyone, coming at you today from G-Vibe. We're going to do a video on Callisto. A little newer approach than the traditional old ways, but everybody's been doing it for a while now and it seems to be working very well. But it's a little bit of a tricky hit. If you don't get it right, it's going to wreck your day. So hopefully I can give you a couple things to help you out. We are going to look at, the player's name is Casco Oscuro. I hope that's right. I don't know. He's on band in the family as JGM196, but really good looking hit. Now typically on Callisto you would farm these right side cells, but we can't on this one because we've got a rocket launcher blocking. Gonna have to just wing it without the GBE and go right at it. So the new approach lately since the latest big update is to use Bullit with the taunt. The taunt it makes everything fire at Bullit and shields the Zookas from any incoming fire. And there's several places that Bullit works really well, and Callisto is one of them. So what you want to do is get him below the core around this mortar. So the mortars, these rocket launchers, and anything else, there's usually some rocket launchers right here that would reach him. This one's not too bad. It looks like just those rocket launchers from below, and these mortars as well. Now you will always have to, if these are rocket launchers up here, you're going to have to shock those. But the whole point of Bullit is to save you shocks. Now, if this was an oddball Callisto where it's only like 2 shocks or something, go ahead and take Brick for the battle orders and just crush it. But in most places, the point of Bullit is to save you GBE from shocks. So that's usually how it plays out on Callisto. So let's see here. These are pretty standard rocket launchers. They're almost always here. See a lot of players that will use 2 smokes on the beach, but you don't need to for these upper ones because you can see the Zookas landing well below the waterline. You only need 1 when you approach these rocket launchers. You're going to clear a shock mine. You're not too concerned with the boom mines. Perfect smoke spacing. You don't even see anything flicker or move. Might peek a little tiny bit here, but pay attention to how late he delayed Bullit. The girls were well up to the yellow line on the beach before dropping Bullit, and notice he flared all the way to the top. Nice predictable path. It's 2 rows wide, but that's okay. You can still stretch your smokes a little bit. No peeking so far. Now here's where it gets important. A reflare you see coming across the screen because you can't get there in 1 flare. The Zookas are just too slow. So what you want to do is get Bullit somewhere near this mortar, in between these 2 even, and shock him in place and then continue your girls to that flare. And the reason why that's so important is to get the 2 to separate. Otherwise, rocket launchers or shock launchers, if there is any in other places, with their splash damage, if Bullit is too close to the Zookas, the splash damage will kill the Zookas when they fire on Bullit. So we'll watch this in slow-mo, half speed, just to see the timing sequence here. If you look at this space, there's enough space for 2 smokes left. So when Bullit gets close to there, drop those 2 smokes at the same time, give or take. Always drop the Bullit smoke first, so when the smoke's clear, he's the first one exposed. Now shock Bullit. It takes some tricky timing. Remember the flight time up there, right in between those mortars. Let the girls continue on to the flare, and then before Bullit's shock runs out, flare the core. So now he will go straight to the core instead of the flare he was on. The smoke's clear, taunt, everything fires on him. Shock these top rocket launchers. The lower rocket launchers, the mortars right next to him. Even if these cannons are usually flamers, they'll be taunted, and if they can't reach Bullit, they won't flame at all, If they can, they'll shoot right over the top of the Zookas and not even touch them. So a second shock on the rocket launchers, a re-taunt, on good practice, get a good gauge of how long Bullitt's taunt lasts before you have to redo it. I don't know exactly how long it is, but a third shock on the rocket launchers, taunt still active, and boom, down goes the core with the med kits to make Turtle happy. So let's watch that again in normal speed and go over a couple of quick pointers for you. All in one. Gonna do art. Oh, nope, he's gonna do that mid-walk. But drop the flare, land the Zookas well to the right so they have time to unload without worrying about your smoke or anything, because again, they're gonna be under these rocket launchers. You can see under quite a bit. Now the art for the shock mine. Perfectly placed smoke, which covers this range. Girls are well up to the yellow line before dropping Bullit. Nice, straight, predictable path, too wide around the defenses. Again, when you know your flare points and paths, it's predictable, so you don't have to drop smokes as a reaction. You know where they need to go. One more flare to the top. Last two smokes. Shock Bullit. The girls continue on their way. Flare the core. And just about the time the shock wears off, the smoke wears off, and taunt. One shock up top. I want to say, I think it's like 6 seconds that taunt lasts, maybe 7. A re-taunt and a re-shock up top. You see we only lost 2 or 3 girls to the rocket launcher splash. That's not so bad. Another taunt and another shock. And boom. Pretty minimal losses. I think he lost, I don't know, 7 or 8 Zooks. I don't remember. Let's look here. Oh, wow, 24, sorry. I was close, right? But that is, that's Callisto. There's one other point I want to make on Callisto, sorry. There's a couple different approaches. A lot of times you'll see a first flare right here by this boom mine. Then when you shock Bullit, he is standing right next to the core. Either way seems to work. I mean, this way works well as long as you shock Bullit before he gets too high and gets into the splash range of the Zookas. It's a little trickier right here because you've got to flare him to that boom mine, shock him, and then reflare the girls to the corner. You can mess around. Either one works if you do it well, but the important part is shocking Bullit far enough away from the girls that splash damage won't get too many of them. So that's pretty much that on Callisto. Hope that helps, and good luck.